What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for September 23rd, 2024. Well, it finally happened. We had a meshing test that had measurable improvements in it. We got a huge update on what engineering will look like in 4.0, and it's a pirate week. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Stop by. I love when you stop over here from the or from YouTube over to the live streams. It just feels really good. But before we get into the show, let me share with you the gold standard of sponsors. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global men's lifestyle brand that is revolutionizing the landscape of men's grooming. There is finally a ball shaver for concierge members. Today, I'm thrilled to unveil the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in forged gold. Welcome to the golden era of grooming, where precision, luxury, and performance meet. In a world where grooming tools come and go, Manscaped is setting the gold standard with the special edition trimmer. If you want to make your grooming routine a statement of sophistication and style, this is the tool you need. Just a quick PSA though, there are limited quantities available in this color, so you gotta act fast if you want this. Let's check it out. This lawnmower has all the same great features of the other Lawnmower 5.0 products, like next-gen dual skin-safe blades, as well as the swappable foil blade to get that smooth finish. It has the dual temperature LED lights, as well as a travel lock and USB-C charging. Join the over 10 million men who trust Manscaped for their grooming needs and step into the golden era with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Gold. Head over to manscaped.com and seize your Forged Gold edition now. Use my promo code SaltEMike to get 20% off plus free international shipping at checkout. Once again, that is promo code SaltEMike, and you get 20% off and free international shipping at checkout. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get into the patch notes. All right, we'll start out on Tuesday, where we had a hotfix, and I didn't see a ton to call out here. Some Atlas fixes, naturally, because they were trying to sell them. Mission markers and party marker issues hopefully resolved. Then Wednesday was another hotfix. This had a larger fix. Apparently, they have a fix for the freight elevator still getting stuck, but most people have issues at outposts still. And general reports from my Twitch chat and Discord are saying, yeah, they're still stuck pretty often. Blockade Runner happened as well, similar to the PTU testing that we had seen before, but this time it's the real deal. 1K SCU needs to be delivered from pirate NPCs that stole Zeta Prolinide from a station. They're timed boxes, basically. You got about 40 minutes to deliver them, or they explode. There's a major issue, though. Most of the ships that you're meant to loot these boxes from are not spawning them. So I spent 3 to 4 hours and turned in around 200 to 300 SCU across an entire server. Like, not just me, but everyone that was participating in it. The team is working on a fix, but we don't have one as of the recording of this video. We don't have a timeline for it. It does go until the 30th, so if you haven't finished the event yet, you will get a chance. But I also heard today that people are starting to see the boxes more often, so maybe there was a sneaky fix that I'm not aware of. Thursday, though, we had a server meshing test. And finally, some good news. This was all I was looking for. Tangible progress in the right direction. Now, I did not participate in the proper testing on launch. I was feeling very sick, so I was in bed until the following morning. But I heard they did a 3 dedicated server 500 player test that was like the 350 player test the previous week. They did a 1,000 player test. That wasn't very good, but better than the last one. And then when I got on about 12 hours later, there was a 4 dedicated server 500 player test going on, but there was only about 250 to 350 players that were online while I was playing. I had 30 FPS servers, and then I crossed over into 10 to 15 FPS servers. AI performed incredible on the 30 FPS servers. Kind of normal and not so great on the 10 to 15. But the overall experience was much better, and you can kind of feel that this might be possible with some time from these guys. Whereas the previous tests, they were so rough that it was kind of hard to see the light, right? The negative was that I had quite a few 30Ks. Server crashes that completely refreshed the server that I was on. So for me, I'm not 100% sure I was getting the proper, the server has been up for hours experience, right? And I think most of us know that those degrade over time and things get pretty rough. Now, I can't wait for the next test. Benoit is going around Twitch chat saying that they're hoping to do a test next week or this week. If you guys are watching this video, I'm recording this on Sunday, obviously, but very excited for that. So let's jump into roadmap updates. All right, a pretty small update this week, and they start out with something that they keep working on, and I hope they have a much grander plan for these, because caves, to me, are some of the biggest waste of time I've seen worked on in this game. And yes, I know jump points are definitely a big part of the cave tech. They use the cave tech to make the jump points, so I understand that, and tech is fine. But they've released a lot of caves now from an art standpoint without any designers really utilizing them in what I would consider any effective form yet. We have a little NPCs and Janelite and Copians, and I don't think too many people really care about those that much. Then we have the more interesting one, in my opinion, the MFD rework. And it's interesting because we've seen a lot of these MFDs lately, and the power management system, which is part of the resource network stuff, is on the MFDs. So this is what's going on here, because that's planned for 4.0. This is planned for 323.2. So yeah, kind of confused what will be available to us. Are we going to have power management? Are we going to have resource network? What's happening here? So it may be something coming forward because 4.0 has gone so far back, but I don't know here. It might just be a panel that doesn't work until 4.0. And then they added the Argo cash grab to the roadmap as well. And with that, let's get into video updates. All right, no SCL this week, just an ISC titled Alpha 4.0, which is why this is so interesting about engineering. Alpha 4.0 Engineering is the title. And it's a really exciting episode, but let's start slow with what this update actually is and what it can do.
Fundamentally, Resource Network is a replacement for the pipe system we had in the past that you may have heard about.
We chose a similar system, basically doing most of what we're doing right now with the resource network, but in a way that was not as scalable as what we intend to do.
Landing complete.
So right now we just have one type of hydrogen fuel, but if we want to extend that in the future to having like multiple types that have some specific benefits on the thrusters, it's very easy now to add that resource. It's just a data setup.
So Resource Network is the underlying technology for the system to work, and engineering is the gameplay we intend to have on top of this technology so that players may experience it.
So the base of this is really simple, right? It's just making what we have now, but scalable. But what Torsten said about that scale is that fuel and other things amongst, it sounds like all of the components can get very much in depth in comparison to what we have. And yeah, they also explain their terms. Resource Network is the term for the rework that they're doing, and engineering is the player-facing interaction system for that rework. Then they explain the intentions and goals of this 4.0 release.
The goal right now is to have all the components on the ship being physicalized. That means that the things that will take damage will be the components. That then means that those components are reasons to the failure of your ship. The biggest thing we are aiming for is switching from your health pool of the bespoke ship to just moving that completely over to the physicalized component. So damaging the component is damaging your ship. And then you can revitalize your ship. So you can actually use your formerly dead in the water ship after exchanging or repairing the components.
Now, this is everything to me. The idea that our ship is our ship, and the idea that claiming has always needed to be less frequent or more punishing has always been a thing, and I'm very excited for that. This is a really good solution. The idea of health pools of ships going away is a huge difference as well. I'm just really looking forward to what this feels like. So sound off in the comments and let me know what you guys think as well. Next, they touch on life support, and I got a different feeling about that.
Then there's the life support generator.
The life support does all the tasks necessary to maintain the life support inside a ship.
So it's the temperature, it's the atmosphere composition, it's the pressure inside the room. And as already mentioned in the previous episodes, it's life support management is also a good way to counter fire.
The big thing to notice here is a door opens and the temperature goes down. The old days of a helmet off and drinking your cruise lux are gone, right? You have to make sure your ship has atmosphere before removing your helmet. And I think if there's anything about this update that players are going to act the way they are about master modes, with this, it's about this system. I think this is going to be really tedious. I think it's going to get annoying, and I think the community might get frustrated by it. And this was the most misunderstood clip from this week.
Items that are damaged, that are too hot, or that, for example, are very old and degraded, will start misfiring. And some of the worst cases would be starting a fire, or in the case of, for example, power plants, engaging in a critical reactor failure and taking the ship with them.
There is a chance that if the power plant reaches 0 health, it will run into a critical failure, and that critical failure then will cause the entire ship to explode. It will give the player the time frame to react to that, so either by removing the component and throwing it out of the door and preventing your ship to explode, or even countering it by repairing the component and bringing it up to life again. You will be able to repair items that were fully destroyed. You will not be able to repair the item to its fullest, so you cannot repair an item that got fully destroyed to 100% health again. So to repair your ship components to the fullest, you actually have to bring them to the shop again and do the station repair.
Okay, so they said it might cause a critical failure first, but clearly there is some warning time to solve these problems. If the power plant gives you the warning, you can deal with it and you live. If you don't deal with it, you die. In the past, you just exploded all the time when your health got to 0. People in the community found this to be something to be upset about. I don't get it. I think we're way more in control of our destiny here, so I'm not really sure what the problem is. Then damage penetration, which is coming next, end with a surprise.
So damage penetration is a simplified version of what we'll be getting eventually with a more physicalized system, but essentially what it means is that now certain types of weapons can penetrate through the hull of a ship. This is a function of the weapon itself, its penetration values, and also the armor of the ship, which can be depleted over time.
So if you use ballistics, you have a higher penetration, which allows you to cut through the armor more deeply and touch the components inside the ship directly. As opposed to this, you also have energy weapons, which will be more effective at melting down the armor.
The goal here is that you first need to bring down the armor health value to get to the fullest potential of your penetrating weapons. Then you can penetrate the ship and actually damage the components that sit inside the ship and not on the outside of the hull.
This more physical system, I assume, is Maelstrom, right? The idea that armor is a thing sounds awesome, and the idea of armor penetration being simple, but just complicated enough to be cool, I think is perfect. It sounds like armor of a certain level will shrug off rounds of smaller weapons and things like that, but if you take our armor down, you will get the max penetration level of the ammo you're using. I love it, can't wait to see it. And then they showed us a UI for the engineering panel. It was a ton going on, and honestly, it's hard to tell what's going on because they're not showing how the changes are affecting the ship that much. So I will leave a link in the description for you guys to check this out, and maybe you can hear more about it. But I think we're going to need to learn more or get this hands-on before we talk more about the actual engineering panel. And then they kind of share a start of hopefully a feature that's coming.
You have an option that allows you to basically log the controls so that you or the pilot, which has access to the MFD, which shares some of the power management functionality, do not conflict with your controls. So by locking this, you are able to override the MFD settings to only have it being authoritative from the engineering station.
So giving a lock to players or maybe a panel on a ship is great and something we really need. And then lastly, this one's really cool.
You are able to take the power assignment you have at a given time and save it locally on your computer, meaning that when you fly again with the ship, or even if it's not your ship but somebody else's ship, you can quickly apply your presets. This is very useful in the middle of combat.
Presets. But presets you can take with you are really, really sick. So that was ISE. It was really great. Let's move on to other updates. All right, starting out with a sneak peek. I'm not going to lie, I have no idea what this is, so I assume it's a ship that they're going to sell, and it looks alien. And for dev posts, the first one is from Zach, and I don't have any footage for this really, but I know when this change happened. NPCs... I don't know when this change happened, I should say. NPCs are kind of hanging around the surface of bunkers now, and apparently Copians will attack them as well. Another one from Zach is about FPS Horde mode, and it looks like it probably isn't going to be a thing anytime soon. We know the Arena Commander team is doing things like the Transit rework, Maelstrom, and Radar. There isn't really a lot of time to go around to get that in, it looks like. And lastly, Mark Gibson lets us know about the obvious. Most ships need a gold standard rework, and how much of a rework depends on each ship, and he gave zero timeline whatsoever. But it's still good to know that he's there and that these things are planned. And then Pirate Week, this is the 24th or 25th marketing sale of the year, and this is the 38th week. And if you like skulls, I guess this one's for you. The coolest things are the skulls, probably. Not a fan myself, or the skins. But the Mantis got a new skin, and that's probably the only legitimate pirate ship in the list, which is pretty cool. And, oh, if you want to throw away $600, there's a pirate pack that can get you exclusive skulls on a cargo box. Only in that package, by the way. They also did a treasure hunt. I cheated because I basically waited for people to get the code because I think things like this should be in the game. I'm tired of waiting for gameplay to be in the game and it to be on the website, right? These coins could have been on the loot of NPCs at Blockade Runner. Done, right? And with that, that's this episode done. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Guys, check out Manscaped if you guys haven't yet. And the merch store, SaltEMike.tv, if you guys want to check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching. Very exciting week, very promising, leading into CitizenCon for themselves. But yeah, it's still a lot of work to go, and I really look forward to seeing and telling you guys about hopefully next week's test or this week's tests, and hopefully they go really well. So thank you so much. Hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe. Leave a comment down below on anything or anything I may have missed, and I'll catch you guys next week.